in IIASA. And again, you heard that this morning already, both from Roger, why he founded YSSP and how important it was to have an opportunity like this for training the next generations or generation and now generations of scientists. And you heard it from Naki also saying that he really believes that this has been the most successful program that IIASA is known for now over the last 40 years. So I think those are all really great things. And so again, what we hope happens in this session that will now be truncated and over lunch and moving beyond is for you to think about, again, what is the role of YSSP? How does it contribute to IIASA's research? How does the presence of this, not only the capacity building, which the individual participants take back home with them, but again, we have the brain power and the manpower and woman power of people showing up here for 3 months every year and contributing to the research that goes on here, and that's really important to the IIASA success. I did want to say just a few things, but I really didn't introduce myself the last time Joanne did, which I appreciate that. Again, I was YSSP in 1997, and what was interesting about that was at the time, YSSP had seemed like it had already been going on forever, right? Because it had started back in the 70s, and that was even Cold War, and that was like ancient history to me, like that it was starting in the 70s. And I really didn't pay too much attention to the history back in 97 as a program that was only 20 years old. We didn't have an event at that time. There was actually a 25th anniversary one, I remember being in 2002. But then as this was approaching, having some conversations with Roger last summer about, it's going to be the 40th anniversary, and particularly always in my mind that I was thinking, well, I've been here for half of them now, so I really do feel old because it's 20th, my anniversary of YSSP, and 40th overall. And so again, the idea is to think about, the research that has benefited at IIASA because of this program that we have. So that was what we were going to discuss, and I'm sure you all have some nice input on that, but because we have the Scientific Advisory Committee, I think we're going to also take advantage of that. So Mary, if you'd like to introduce the SAC and say something. And so the idea would be we're all going to have a joint lunch together. It's a 2-hour lunch, so there is time for some dialogue, and maybe introduce who you are so we know who we could be talking to and some of the issues that are going on. So thank you.
Good. Thanks very much, Brian. My name is Mary Scholes. I'm from South Africa. I'm currently the chairperson of the Science Advisory Committee here at IIASA. I got involved some time ago when the YSSP meeting grew into an amoeba, if you like, and part of that amoeba left Austria and came to South Africa, and we ran a program there, a YSSP program in South Africa for 3 years. What was the big difference is that you come from all around the world to one of the most beautiful cities in the world when the climate is fantastic. The YSSP program in South Africa took the candidates to the most boring city in South Africa imaginable, right in the middle of the cornlands of South Africa, over Christmas, hot as hell and dry. So that's the contrast in terms of experience. However, in the experience was the same thing about networking, sharing knowledge, learning new tools, learning new methodologies. And I think maybe that was my very first introduction to IIASA. We have a new program now in South Africa, which I will tell you more about tomorrow. But I'm a plant physiologist by training. I don't think I could even write a sentence of modeling or numerical code some time ago. But then I grew in my ideas and became a biogeochemist, and that's what I work now in South Africa. I have a systems chair at my university. So what I would like to do now is, instead of me saying this is so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, I think each person, if they could come up, because I think what's important about the Science Advisory Committee, which is the same about you, all the alumni and the YSSP, is what great synergy there is in diversity. We have to appreciate the diversity in each other, and that's what I would like the SAC to share with you, is where they're from, well, their names, where they're from, and what they're doing, so that you can see the range of expertise. And what we want from you is for some of you to land up on the sack in the very near future, please. We don't want people with very leftover ideas from the 50s. We want new innovative ideas. So that's what we're looking for from you as well. So I'll start off with my colleague, Jim.
Hello, I'm Jim Hall. I'm from the University of Oxford, where I'm director of the Environmental Change Institute, so a very interdisciplinary institute, which, like IIASA, spans across energy, water, food, biodiversity, climate. Myself, I come from a background working on water, but very much from a systems perspective. I've worked on risk analysis and decision analysis, and a lot of my work now actually focuses on adaptation to climate change and on the role of infrastructure systems as being a crucial point in decision-making around sustainability. Two of my doctoral students have been part of the YSSP, and it's been a wonderfully enriching experience for them. And just coming out of the SAC meeting, one of the last things we touched upon was some thinking around the state of the systems movement globally and the role of IIASA in nurturing the systems movement. And of course, the YSSP is an incredibly important network in promotion of systems thinking, purposeful systems thinking around the world. So it's a great honor to be with you.
Thanks, Jim. Marie?
Hello, I'm Mari Pangestu. I'm from Indonesia. I'm a professor of international economics at the University of Indonesia, as well as on the board of the Center for Strategic and International Studies, which is a policy think tank. I've spent half of my life in government and the other half in academia. I work on international trade issues, sustainable development, and creativity and innovation. And I really believe in the role of science to policy. And I really have learned a lot. This is my first IIASA SAC meeting, and I very much look forward to talking to all of you young scientists.
Thanks very much, Marie.
I'm Eva Saguna from Mali, and I am currently working for South Center. It's a think tank of the South based in Geneva, in Switzerland. In addition to that, I am vice chair of IPCC, and I serve also as co-chair of Working Group 3 of IPCC for the AR5, and I am honorary professor at UCL. And my focus, the work of my focus is on sustainable development, climate and energy in Africa, and I'm currently working on South-South cooperation.
Thanks, Yuba. Miriam?
Hello, I'm Mirjam de Bruin. I'm from Holland, the Netherlands. I work in Leiden University as a professor in history and anthropology. In my sort of academic career, I work with a lot of different research groups, starting from analyzing crisis, drought in the Sahel, Africa. I'm an Africanist as well. Then from climatic change, climate crisis to conflict crisis. How do people react to crisis, and what do they do with it? I think my role in IIASA is not to produce models and to understand exactly what your models are about, because sometimes I find it quite difficult, but to add anytime I can, what is the human dimension? What really are these systems helping us to understand how these people who suffer of these crises can become probably have a little bit more well-being. So I think there's an activist in me. I felt this idea of system theory that as a movement, very interesting, but still I think we have to be critical on that thinking as well, because we need always to go back and see about whom are we talking and who do we serve with what we do in academia. So I hope we can exchange on these kind of ideas over lunch. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Roberta?
Hi, hello. My name is Roberta Schaffer. I'm from Brazil. I'm a professor at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. And most of my work is related to climate change and energy. We have a lot of research projects with IIASA. I have been quite successful in sending some doctoral students to IIASA. In fact, I already have 4 in the YSSP program. And so I think this is a great chance we're having here. And in my case, I spent half of my career in academia, and hopefully I still have half of my career to continue.
Thanks, Roberta. Professor Moon?
Can I use these steps? This is engineering work, you know. Who made this? Engineering works make steps. My name is Casey Moon from Korea. I'm the president of UST, University of Science Technologies. After you finish this summer course, come to my schools during the summer period. But we only accept graduate students for the summer course, okay? The world's changed by science. Before the Industrial Revolution, 1760s, world GDP is less than $80 per person. But the science changed the words. I hope you change the new words in the future. Good luck.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bo Jifu from China. I'm a professor in the Chinese academic sciences. It's also the dean of the Faculty of the Geography Science at the Beijing Normal Universities. At this moment, I'm pleased to meet with a young scientist from in the world. Particularly, I find a lot of from the China. This is the summer school is training a lot of the young scientists for China. At this moment, I remember is 30 years ago, during my PhD program, I have the chance to study 1 year in Britain. This is the first time in the Ministry of Education of China and exchange PhD students with the British Council. I hope you take this opportunity. This will be open a window for your whole life. I hope that all young scientists learn a lot and learn each other in here. Let's go to the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Fu. Silvia? The diversity continues. Yes.
Hello. Hi, my name is Silvia Giorguli. I'm currently the president of El Colegio de Mexico, which is a research institution in Mexico concentrated on social sciences and humanities. And basically, what I have to say is, I myself, when I finished my PhD studies, had the opportunity to have a similar experience as the one at YSSP. And what I valued, aside from all the research that one can get done, is something that is probably unobserved benefits. And it's this possibility of looking at one's research from a different perspective and looking at how experiences can be similar or different within the same context. And I think that is very important when one is starting its career. So I'm also eager to listen the experiences that you have had as YSSP fellows. And I hope that we can also increase the participation of Latin American young scholars in the future.
Thank you. My name's Ralph Keeney. I'm from the US. I'm a decision and risk analyst and trained as an engineer. I've worked at a few universities and business schools in engineering and took 8 years to work in a consulting firm to work on real problems, geotechnical environmental engineering, like we solved here. And before then, I was here at the beginning of IIASA, just after it opened, for 2 years and worked in water resources and environmental problems and some engineering problems, doing decision analysis to lend some insights. And it's important to get the decision makers and what they can control in the models that you look at, because the only purposeful way they can influence anything is through their decisions. And similarly, the only purposeful way you can influence anything whatsoever in your life is through your decisions. You can have a lot of impact without thinking, but purposeful influence at your decisions. And you got a choice to make some great decisions here to do some great things. I hope you do that and have a wonderful time. Thank you.
I'm Nils from Norway. I am a research professor at the Peace Research Institute, Oslo, and a professor emeritus of political science at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology in Trondheim. In my youth, which is quite a while ago, I had two overarching interests. One is I was very active in the peace movement. Among other things, I went on a pacifist peace march from London to Moscow, was expelled from France and East Germany, and arrested for civil disobedience in London. But my other overarching interest was social science. I grew up in a family of natural scientists, but successfully avoided pressure from my family to become a natural scientist and became a sociologist and political scientist instead. And I was lucky enough to be able to combine my interest, my activist interest in peace, with my interest in social science, because peace research was founded in several European countries at the time, including Norway. So I've worked in peace research ever since. And unfortunately, it's a topic that I have not yet been able to persuade YASA to take up. But one of our interests is in the relationship between environmental change and climate change in particular and armed conflict. And of course that gets us close to some of the things that YASA is interested in.
Thanks very much. Professor Tetsuko?
My name is Tetsuzo Yasunori from Japan. Working as the Director General of the Research Institute for Humanity and Nature, or shortly RIN. I think maybe the title of our institute, the Humanity and Nature, may be interesting for you. The mission of our institute is to push the interdisciplinary and the transdisciplinary studies for the human-nature interactions in terms of the environment and also sustainability. So maybe, I hope that you are very much interested in our institute. So our institute is located in Kyoto, Japan. As you know, Kyoto is a very old capital for more than 1,000 years or so. So why don't you come to our institute? And at the same time, by the way, my background is climate issues. As a meteorology and a climatologist, so I have been involved in the IPCC, and also now I am involved in the Futures program internationally. Futures that are focused on the interdisciplinary and the transdisciplinary studies for global change, global sustainability, as you may know. So I do hope that maybe I think this new space or field of their research really needs young people. So I think I do hope that they will have a nice discussion and long-term collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fred?
My name is Fred Roberts. I'm from the United States. When I got my PhD, I got it in mathematics, but I was not a common mathematician because I had multidisciplinary interests. And at that time, I was frowned upon. And in fact, I found it difficult to get a job. So I think those of you who are here at YASA and can benefit from the fact that the world is now recognizing multidisciplinarity and is recognizing that the problems we're all interested in here don't get solved by just being concentrating on your own discipline. This is a great place to be. So in my own life, I have worked on a variety of problems, ranging from environmental questions to the social and behavioral sciences. I had an experience of actually being a postdoctoral fellow in a psychology department. I have run 2 institutes over the past 30 years, including one on discrete mathematics. And the one I'm running now deals with data science. I've worked on problems that deal with counterterrorism and problems that deal with climate. And by the way, they're related, I think. And my current passion is something that we call Mathematics of Planet Earth. It's a project that began with North American Mathematical Sciences Research Institutes and became a worldwide activity. And it deals with things you're all going to sound familiar to you. Sustainable human environments, global change, dealing with natural disasters, management of natural resources, data-aware energy use, and most importantly, perhaps, education for the planet Earth of tomorrow. So I urge you all to join us in this activity and get a lot out of YASA on the way.
Thank you very much, Fred. We have another colleague from Russia. I'm not sure if he's here. Igor? There you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I'm Professor Gossard Ovid, Deputy Director for Science, Russian Foundation for Basic Research. My main area of activity is future global digital economy, highly based on additive technologies, robotized economy, and so on. That's a very attractive future, but it is very new challenges, such as cyber threats and so on. So you will live in this new global technosphere, and until now you would explore all the consequences which this global technosphere will lead with it. For example, massive unemployment of most mass professions and so on. I wish you all the best in this explore. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those are all our members. It's a pleasure to work with them. I think it's fantastic when we can all listen to each other, and even if you disagree with respect. So I think we have a very good working relationship. So I would just like to say to the young people, well done on taking the opportunity. You have to take every opportunity that comes your way and then use it for the good of others. And the people at YASA who have managed to pull this off for 40 years, I think we need to pay compliments to Maggie and Joanne and Ulf and Brian and many other support people. Tanya is often behind the scenes now, but they have done a wonderful job in keeping this program going. You can stand with us, eat with us now at lunchtime, and I would just like to say there's an old African proverb which says, "You have received without charge. You must give without charge." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you for the introductions from everybody. So with that, we can close this morning's session, and we will start up again at 2:30 with the session on panel 3 on population. But in the meantime, we have lunch out there. Please mingle. Please take advantage of this networking. So enjoy.